Hey, and welcome to Please Don't Send Me Into Outer Space, the podcast intent on exploring all that science fiction and fantasy has to offer, one movie at a time. My name is Joel.
My name is Sarah.
My name is Aaron.
The movie this week. The movie this week. See, I can do a nice voice. I just, for some reason, choose to use my regular voice. Hello, Alien. The movie this week is Alien Cubed. Right?
You mean the crossover with the elevator movie? Aliens versus cubes?
That's a good idea, except for, those aliens being chopped up left and right.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't think they're allowed in Canada. Anyways, Alien 3, directed by David Fincher, written by, story, Vincent Ward, David Giller, Walter Hill, and Larry Ferguson, starring Sigourney Weaver, Charles S. Dutton, Charles Dance, Paul McGann, Brian Glover, blah, 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 blah.
Alan Rickman.
Holt McClaney. Pete Postlethwaite, that guy's famous. And, what did he say?
David Fincher.
Oh yeah, don't forget the Finch.
Is David Fincher in the movie?
I'm just kidding.
Lance Henriksen.
Totally
I forgot about that. I picked this movie for us to watch because, for some reason, this is like when people talk about Alien, if you bring up Alien 3, they're like, oh yeah, that one stinks. And I disagree. Now, of course, it doesn't necessarily measure up to the original. And the second one is beloved too. Like, personally, Alien is more my movie than Aliens. But they're both great. And yes, Alien 3 is not as good as either of those. But I think it is still a very solid entry into it. It's got great Sigourney Weaver action. It's got great creature effects. This time watching through, I think that the computer effects don't hold up, but, it's the early 90s. What are you going to do? Opinions? Arguments?
I appreciated the tonal difference between this movie and Aliens, where, we can probably really break down, a lot of those points, but I think that's probably the easiest way to put it for me personally. I really enjoyed the difference between the two movies.
I had never seen this one before, and we were laughing about it because I knew Joel had seen it, but I was like, Aaron, have you seen this one? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, are you sure? But there's this thing that happens in this one that is pretty hard to forget. I think when you've seen it happen, or if you haven't seen it, and I had not seen it happen yet. So,
yeah, it's kind of a major
spoiler
event.
for this old movie, but
probably one of the reasons why it's
Decisive?
Why some people don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Could be an issue.
Yeah. But, it almost feels... It doesn't feel as in tone with part one. I'm trying to figure out which one does it feel more like, because I think the second half definitely feels more like part two, Aliens, but part one is more mystery, right?
Part one is definitely more mystery.
I don't feel like it's like either of them.
Mm.
It's more like Batman too.
Oh, it's Batman Returns?
More like Batman Returns than like Aliens.
That's true.
Yeah. No, I don't know.
That part where Charles Dance is like, I've been riding this prison like a hog from hell.
This is kind of more goth or more dark in like that 90s way.
Yeah.
That
Yes.
Fincher, 90s dark stuff.
It's kind of like, with a rewatch and being more familiar with David Fincher's work, it's kind of astonishing how much of a David Fincher movie this is. Like, he took the Alien universe and inserted it into his, like, film style. And, like, one of the best things about this movie is how much the world feels real, not a set or anything like that. Like, you really feel like you're on this desolate prison planet type thing here because of the way they use sound. Like, people aren't coming in clearly as they're talking because there's echoes off of these huge chambers that they all exist in. And it's like sparsely populated, but you get to know a bunch of the individuals in a way where they feel like real characters, especially Charles Dance, which is, he's great in this movie. He's not evil. I'm used to him being evil.
I'd say he's, there are shades of gray. He's a three-dimensional character that has a past. You only get to know a little bit of it because it's an action movie, but you do feel like he's a person who isn't as evil as some of these other people are. Yeah, I think this one is a little bit slow, and maybe that's why some people didn't like it after Alien 2.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see the Alien movies until I was older, but my mom, has always been super into Alien, and she's seen all of them, and she's a diehard Alien fan. And I think Ripley is such a badass as a hero. I just really, really like her in all that I've seen so far. I haven't seen Resurrection.
I thought you had seen Resurrection.
I don't know if I have or not.
No.
I feel like there are things I know about that movie, but there are things I feel like I can't remember if I know them.
Okay. It might have been on at some place that you were hanging out or something like that.
Yeah, I bet my mom watched it around me before.
I thought your mom sent you out of the room whenever she was putting these movies on. Sarah, this is too much for your delicate brain.
What year? Anyway, I don't know how old I was when Alien Resurrection would have been out.
I don't know. What's it say on this thingy?
1997.
97. So we were 15. You were fresh back from China. You were just learning about these newfangled, I don't know what happened in 97. Rollerblades?
I was like, Winona Ryder. I loved her in Reality Bites.
Oh, yeah.
And Little Women.
What if she was like her character in Reality Bites, but in an Alien movie?
That's good.
Yeah. When did you first see it, Goofball?
Alien 3?
Yeah.
I didn't see Alien 3. If you're referring to me as the Goofball. I haven't seen Alien 3.
I was talking to that flashing chick you bought.
Oh, well, happy birthday, Joel.
I love chicks.
Alien 3 was definitely one that I didn't see until I was an adult.
Okay.
None of the Alien movies were movies that my parents really pushed on us to watch. They loved them, I assume, when they were, young, reckless adults without children.
We don't care what we watch. We're cool. And then they had kids, yeah.
Well, I think the first one was definitely one that they loved.
Oh, sure.
I think they had it on 35 millimeter as well.
I assume you love the first one too.
Oh, it's a great movie
because of the association with Dan O'Bannon and
I'm a big Dan O'Bannon
love for whatchamacallit. The one that we watched that's a comedy.
You're talking about Dark Star?
Yeah.
My favorite movie?
Yeah, like the direct ties, like that makes such a good double feature because it's like, oh, these aliens could have been a giant tomato monster this whole time.
Yeah. I do like the first one a lot. This one was good too, though. And I, as mentioned a few minutes back, I really enjoy the difference between Aliens and Alien 3. I really enjoy that. This movie just sets you up just to be like, what the hell? What? I can only imagine what it must have been like to be in the theater in 1992, fresh off of, you're reminiscing about, Cameron's film. You're thinking about how, like, man, it was so cool seeing all those Marines killing them aliens.
Well, Hicks, and that little girl, she's probably older now. She's going to be, Newt's going to be, like, doing some stuff. And, I don't know. Did you see that teaser trailer? Because, bro, they're going to be on Earth.
Oh, yeah, crazy. Man. I remember on that teaser trailer, they said, watch out. You're going to be screaming on Earth.
Yeah. Aaron was like, you guys need to watch this teaser trailer. And sure enough, Don LaFontaine, I believe, is the famous trailer guy with the voice. He's like, in 1970, whatever, we were told, you can't hear a scream in space, whatever the saying is. In space, no one can hear you scream. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Now, in 1992, they'll say, you can hear a lot of screaming on Earth because it's pretty sweet.
That's a pretty direct quote.
Alien 3. But no. Unless he was talking about the audience.
Oh. I hadn't even considered that.
But I think you're right. I think we were supposed to assume
the aliens were coming to Earth.
Yeah. And we had to wait until Alien versus Predator for that one.
I haven't seen that yet.
I've seen the beginning of the first one, and I was like, why am I watching this lame horror movie?
I haven't been able to get through any of them. AVPs.
Mm-hmm.
I like the comics, though.
Yeah, well,
AVP, the comics are rad.
You stack it up on such high media. Like, the original video game was so awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And then the comics, and then there was the cool side-scrolling arcade game from Konami, speaking of them, where you're punching around. Yeah, but it's like, the movie, they're like, well, what if they were teenagers? Oh, everyone likes Scream. Like, shut up. I don't think they're actually teenagers in there. They just act like that. Anyway, this movie.
Oh, Alien 3.
Alien Cubed.
Yeah, well, what I was saying was I really like the difference. And I didn't see this till I was an adult.
Yes.
To go back to your question.
Mm-hmm.
And I just gotta say, it's a good movie.
We watched a weird version, though. At least we started to.
Yeah. Yeah, we did see a weird one.
Because I got a super cheap Blu-ray from this, by the way. Check out your local Big Lots. You might be able to find the Alien Quadrilogy on Blu-ray for $5, which is totally...
Buy a plane ticket, come to Ventura, to the Big Lots here.
No, I got the 2 copies that they had.
Get a refund on that plane ticket you just bought.
Yeah, there's Big Lots all over the country. I think. I don't know. Anyone? Pick and save?
I don't pretend to know the answer to that.
She's not even promoting Big Lots that don't exist, Joel.
Sarah.
I don't want to lead people to believe something I don't know to be true.
Well, anyway, if you have a Blu-ray copy, and it's probably on one of the DVDs too, there's an alternate version from 2002 or something like that has extended scenes, and it also replaces the dog entirely. And it's with one of the cattle creatures, which I don't even remember seeing any of them. Like, in the theatrical cut, you don't know that there's like these steers that are on the planet that they use to move things. You see the dog in the, like, when they first find the ship barking at the alien thing. And later, of course, we see an alien actually pop out of that dog, right? Basically. And, like, the alien has these dog-like features, which was one of the cool things about it, is like, oh, man, so the alien directly takes on...
Yes, the attributes of the host.
That's crazy. But in the cut we were watching, it was, first of all, way more gore, which was cool for me, but, some people...
I'm into it.
Mm-hmm. But in this one, instead, they bring in one of the cattle, and they're like, oh, we don't know why it died, just hang it up and we'll make food out of it later. And at some point during the funeral that they have before they toss those Hicks and Newt into the furnace, we see the alien pop out of the cow thing. And it's totally the dog alien, but there's no dog in the other version at all,
right.
Which is lame. But yeah, I don't know why they went with that, but...
Well...
Aaron?
I don't have the answers for you.
Because you were saying, like, the theater audience didn't like the dog kill, except for that's the theatrical version.
But I don't know what to tell you, Joel.
Why don't you know? Get David Fincher on the phone.
I don't know him.
Well, I looked it up on Wikipedia, and it says that they had a bunch of problems shooting it, including shooting without a script.
Oh.
Various screenwriters and directors attached and then not attached. And it was Fincher's directorial debut.
At one point, famous sci-fi author William Gibson was actually attached to this movie, and he wrote an amazing script. An amazing script! Like, so amazing that the studio was like, nah, we'll get someone else.
Why?
That's crazy.
Yeah, William Gibson is like one of the best science fiction writers around.
Was it just going to cost too much money to produce or something like that?
I have a feeling that the story he wrote, they couldn't do. Yeah.
That's like, but it's available to read.
Well, guess what? If you go to a comic book store, they recently adapted his script into a comic book.
Oh, I see.
I don't know any comic book stores or anything like that.
Well, I mean, if you happen to be in Ventura, California, or Newbury Park, I'm sure you can stop at one called.
What's Mike's store? Oh yeah, Sterling Comics. Is that what we're talking about?
Green Arrow Comics.
Oh, okay.
That's what it's called.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, Arsenal Comics and Games.
Arsenal, Star City.
That's old school.
Oh, cool. Well, I'm very interested in that, and I'm sure you could get us a copy since you.
Yeah, we'll do. We can do a. If someone pays us like a bunch of money on coffee, I'm sure we could. Do a reading.
Yeah,
of it.
we'll do a live reading. Yeah.
William Gibson's.
Why
Alien.
not? You know what? If you give us money on coffee, we will do that.
Yeah, sure.
I don't. It's not like I got anything better to do with my time. I'm not joking. I absolutely have nothing better to do. So please. Oh man. So yes. Okay. Sigourney Weaver as Ripley. I think the most badass thing about her is that she does not back down from anything difficult that she knows she has to do. And it's not like she's like the best at the thing, she's not the total badass or anything like that, but she puts up a fight. She's willing to keep going, like to points where even after she's like hurt or anything like that, she's not letting anything stop her. And like it's admirable. In each movie, it takes on this different form. Because in the first one, it's just a survival thing, and she ends up being the last person to survive. You can almost take that as like, it was just a coincidence, and she just got through because she knew the inside of the ship or something like that. But when we get to the second movie, where she knows things are screwed up, and she knows if she lets them get too far, that the whole world's going to pay for it. Like, she goes above and beyond, right, the job. And of course, there's that badass scene at the end where she calls the alien queen a bitch, which is, I don't like to say the B word. It's very inappropriate.
She,
what was that little cheeky look you just did right there? Yeah.
She's tough. After facing the alien in the first one, she doesn't give a you can bleep that out. But yeah, it's like all the other stuff is extraneous. She's just like, survive. We need to survive, and we need to not get this thing like in us and escape. Like, that's the number one priority, is like saving human lives or whatever. And in this one, it kind of presents her as like a victim in the beginning.
Yep. Because
she's crash landed. Actually, it was really funny because I had never seen this movie before. And in the beginning, she's like covered in oil on this like shore, and it reminded me, I was in a photography class in college. I focused on photography, and one of my classmates had done a photo shoot that was like obviously inspired by Sigourney Weaver unconscious, covered in oil.
That's funny.
And I kind of wondered, like, well, at the time he had done those pictures of this girl covered in like an oil-looking thing. I wondered if it was like an environmental thing, like what are we talking about? And now that I see it in this, I'm like, oh, maybe he was just a huge fan of Alien. But then I was like, well, maybe Alien's making an environmental comment there. I don't know. Ripley is cast ashore from an oil spill or something. I don't know. But
in the future, everyone's covered in oil, so I'm not sure it's
I'm glad that you have that crystal ball, Joel. So
I mean,
this have access to this.
There's some greasy is on this prison planet, but
I guess you're right. You don't need a crystal ball. These guys are greasy.
Yeah.
I think they tried to achieve a lot with this movie. Having said that, I really enjoyed it, but like first you've got her crash landed, and then you find out it's a prison colony and that there are only men and there are no weapons, basically.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, what the heck are they gonna do now? Like, psychologically, you're like, well, that's a new challenge. There's no weapons.
A little misleading that the opening paragraphs of this movie say it's a maximum security prison.
Right.
With no guns.
Right. And there's this whole, like, subculture of people that are, like, monks or something. Like, they're devout to their faith and took a vow of celibacy.
Some weird religious order, yeah. And it's revealed that the facility, their punishment was they were supposed to be working this facility for whatever material they could mine from it, but it got closed down 5 years ago. And that these people requested to stay here, to continue, their servitude or whatever, as opposed to being transferred to a different planet, that might have had better conditions or something like that. I don't know. It's an interesting twist.
That's really weird because, like, they would rather be isolated. It almost makes it seem like they don't trust themselves to be around other people.
Yeah.
In, like, a regular population again.
Yep.
I wonder if it was just like a group coping mechanism, like they just could not,
Maybe they felt like they found community and they didn't want to leave it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get that.
If I were a character in that movie,
I assume this has the same fate that most of your future situations are.
Well, are we to believe this is the same future as Blade Runner, as mentioned?
Wasn't there something in here that I was like, oh, this makes me think that can be a thing? Oh, because of the way the technology looked.
Yeah.
And I can't remember. There was one specific scene where I was like, this definitely looks like it could just like fall straight out of Blade Runner, the way everything looks in this area.
I mean, if that's the case, like, I probably would have stayed on this planet too. I want to go back to Earth.
Yeah, I put down religious monks and oil field workers. I don't know.
Yep.
Christians or fundamentalist Nation of Islam ?
Yeah, I don't know if they give any sort of they're just worshiping God,
right?
It comes off as very Christian, by the way. They're Charles S. Dutton is like prophesizing,
right.
The evangelical sort of thing going on a little bit.
Well, now I think about it, it comes off as kind of a, you were saying, like a Islam kind of thing, like one of the I can't remember what the terminology, Muslim Brotherhood or whatever it is, like from.
I kind of thought of that because remember we saw recently. I don't know anything about it. I'm just gonna come right out and say I don't know anything. Recently, sure. Joel and I watched Malcolm X,
right,
and it kind of reminded me of the faith that they had in the prison in Malcolm X.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
if you want to hear me talk about that for some reason, you can hear me on our podcast We Cut Heads, a Spike Lee podcast, which I do with Spencer. But you were saying, sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Free advertisement.
I put thoughtful use of set and other details, costumes. And I said it's a dark Dr. Martin Fincher Space Jam.
Dr. Martin.
I think that there's a part where... what's that guy's name? The one that she's talking to?
Charles Dance?
Yeah, he's wearing these, like, really cool boots.
Oh, you think they're Doc Martens?
They might be, yeah.
I think they were. At least, maybe they were like, Wayland Corp, Doc Martens, like future Doc Martens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I assumed you meant Doc Martin from the TV show, like You Can't Stand to See Blood.
No.
Okay. So it's not a quaint English prison colony.
Oh, well, Dr. Martens are British, but in a different way. More of a punk rock, goth, yeah, whatever thing.
Golf. So...
Yeah.
What do you think makes this movie special?
There's so much promise from aliens. Like, so much promise, so much, like, extreme, like, wow, they saved the day! We saved this kid! We saved everything! And then this movie just kind of provides you with the, none of that happened. Like, in fact, everything's worse now than it was before.
It's like when we found out about that mini thing that was between, what was that one called?
Prometheus?
Yeah, Prometheus and the other one.
And, Alien Covenant?
Yeah. I feel like there's like a short we missed in between the second one and this one. Like the short they have between those two.
Yeah. Well, like, okay, so Aliens takes place like 70-something years after Alien, right? Wasn't that the thing?
Yeah.
That's, okay, there's like a video game that came out that's called Alien Isolation, where you play Ripley's daughter, who comes to find out what happened to her mom. She goes to the original space station, I believe.
Okay.
But it's like that's kind of filling a gap between Alien and Aliens, but it probably wouldn't be filling that much of a gap unless there's some sort of weird time travel. I don't think there. I wonder if there is any like material, at least would show like where the world is, because the state we're left in is that she has her ship that she escaped in at the end of Aliens. They have to eject her from the escape pod with the other two survivors and Jones the cat, presumably, although we don't see any sign of him. And
I missed Jones in this one.
Yeah, for some reason I remembered Jones being in it, but I guess I imagined that.
There was no mention of the cat.
In your heart, he's there.
Yes. In my heart, he lives on. Yeah, so I guess you can make the presumption that, like, Weyland-Yutani has probably been looking for them anyways, because the whole thing is they want to recover the alien for use possibly as a weapon or whatever else.
Type of asset that it wants to collect.
Yeah, and what is the name of Lance Henriksen's character? Bishop, right?
Michael Bishop.
Real Bishop shows up at the end. But, I mean, how many years have passed since... Did we determine that?
They said 50. They said that she was in stasis for 50 years.
So another 50 years in stasis.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, how could Bishop still be alive if he was the real Bishop? Huh?
You mean the robot?
Right, because the guy who shows up at the end of the movie is like, I'm the person they based the robot on.
He could have been a robot.
Yeah, I think
I
that's...
have a suspicion as well.
I guess we'd have to just decide that was the case, yeah.
Or maybe he was cryogenically frozen.
But he gets shot in the movie, and he bleeds, so there's just...
He could have just been frozen.
There's just a gap in the story. Oh, they had him on ice while they were like making machine versions of him.
Yeah.
Because he wouldn't hold still.
He was like, "Don't use my face," and they did it anyway. They're like, "We'll just freeze him."
Yeah, just put him on ice. Inject him with this like drug that'll make him work for us afterwards or something. I don't know.
Sign him up for a TV show called Millennium.
Yeah. Oh, that's what he was doing. He was
Millenniuming.
What is he in that show?
I think it's one of those shows where you can see like the murderer doing things.
Oh, he's like got powers.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. It's like
You never watched that show?
It's like early edition. He gets a newspaper.
Sure, it's darker, I think. But,
Oh, okay.
I don't think I ever saw it.
No, I never saw Millennium.
oh, okay.
I saw Medium. Is that kind of like that?
Yeah. Mulder and Scully go and inspect Patricia Arquette again. No, it takes place in the X-Files verse, the Carter verse. I guess I don't know. Because in the X-Files proper, they conclude the Millennium storyline after it got canceled.
Got it. That makes sense.
How do I know that? I haven't seen the show. It's because I'm a dork.
I mean, I love you more now
Ooh,
than I ever have before.
that's nice.
Nice.
And on that day, Aaron's heart grew 2 sizes bigger.
Uh-huh. So the computer graphics in this movie,
Oh, yeah.
they're pretty janky at this point.
They didn't age well.
Yeah, it's true. It's a little rough on the eyes.
And like the physical, the practical, costumed and like slimy alien thing looks so amazing, and that's part of why it looks so janky. I wonder, like back in the day, I can't imagine what it was like seeing it on the big screen. Like, did it look awesome? Because
I don't think people really had a point of reference at that point, though.
yeah, that's the thing. Yeah,
I think even the creators didn't really have a point of reference for this.
recently Sarah and I watched Species because I hadn't seen that movie before.
Oh,
And that's got some rough CGI going on there. The Species alien itself, it's like, oh, I see somebody fell out of Toontown here.
oh! I wish we could do a podcast on that one.
It's your pick
unfortunately,
next.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
oh,
You guys just watched it, so nah.
no, what?
Nah.
Joel noticed the CG in that movie.
Oh, is that what he's noticing? Oh,
In Species, yeah.
It's not the model.
What else would I
actress
notice?
model.
That's because
Naked
those were
lady.
real, and I've seen things like that before. Right?
What the hell is this thing? It doesn't look like a
Did,
real.
Did you have to rewatch some of the hot tub scenes?
Yeah, I didn't want to rewatch the scene where what's that British guy's name? Anyways, he's getting done on the bed by the species creature
Oh,
thing,
is
and
that
I'm
what's
like,
going
oh
on?
god, I'm never gonna watch this again. I gotta bleach my eyeballs.
Right on.
What's his name?
I don't remember which actor it is.
The guy from Spider-Man 2
The guy from Spider-Man 2.
that plays Doc Ock.
Oh. You mean the guy who dies in Indiana Jones?
In the beginning, yeah.
the beginning?
You see his dummy covered
Quick.
with darts.
Hand
That
me the whip.
was-
You throw me the whip. I'll throw me the idol. I'll throw you the whip.
Was it
I don't
Alfred
remember.
Molina?
Alfred Molina. Thank you.
Molina.
Skinny Alfred Molina getting plowed by an alien monster. I guess it's the other way around, but something I
Good night,
don't
good night, everyone.
Spoilers!
Did not want to see it.
Spoilers for Species if
Good night,
you
everyone.
never saw it.
Hey, people get it on an Alien Cubed also.
Oh, yeah.
It's completely consensual. There's nobody playing any tricks. It's not like you see it going on. You just kind of see them like getting dressed afterwards, and it's like, yeah, that was nice. Yeah. The end.
I mean, when I thought about it, I was like, well, Ripley, this has been a long journey for her. She doesn't know what's going to happen next.
Right, and if
She's living for the moment right then, I
Yeah, I think
think,
so.
the way it happens makes everyone feel human to me. Like, it might happen that way. I wouldn't have felt like otherwise if it hadn't happened that way. Oh, but it's not like they're... I think it's interesting because it's not like they're outright flirting or anything like that.
No.
The attraction was there.
Right. It's almost a nonverbal chemistry. It's just like they get along, and Charles Dance is taking his shirt off, so why not?
Yeah, I guess maybe that was the point where things went down.
And he was like, "Hey, I killed the golden child." Oh wait, no, I didn't. Never mind.
I was concerned as soon as I found out this was an all-male planet. I was like, oh, this could be a really messed up situation for Ripley's character to be walking into.
Right.
And they try to steer away from some of that by being like, oh, these are all celibate prisoners. But there's one part where somebody attacks her.
Oh, a group of them, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had forgotten about that part, but... I mean, it seems like to have a prison planet with a single,
it would be, yeah.
You have to have a scene.
It would be crazy, yeah. But it wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it could have been with that kind of a situation.
You're right. It could have been way worse.
And the person who comes to save the day is not necessarily who you expect either. It's Charles S. Dutton who starts beating up his own followers because it's like, you guys, you don't want to do this. Like, it's like. Because their vows and everything like that. This is not who we are, and I have to beat the sense into you. And when she's like, "Thank you," he's like, "I didn't do it for you. I did it for their souls," or something basically like that. And
he's not exactly a friend,
right?
Yeah, we get that from the beginning that he is not looking for allyship.
No,
here at all.
Yeah,
and then they kind of make like a suicide pact where she's like, "Hey, if it gets real, I need you to kill me."
Yes. And that's after she figures out that she's got Sutton inside her.
Spoiler alert. This is what I did not know about this movie. Somehow I made it to 37 years old without knowing that this happened to Ripley. Or if I was told at some point, I forgot it. Definitely never saw that part before, but I would just be so distraught if I found out if I was Ripley and I found out there was an alien in me. I would be pretty upset.
Yeah.
That's understating.
I'd be pretty upset too if I woke up from 50-year cryogen sleep and go, "Oh man."
First I spill my coffee. Now I've got an alien growing inside me. Ridiculous.
This is exactly what she's been trying to avoid this whole time.
Yeah.
What's that Spaceball reference? Check, please.
Mm-hmm. They set it up pretty damn well, though. Like, yeah, I guess you can kind of read into the beginning what might be going on.
Yeah.
But the whole scene where the alien is right next to her and does not kill her, it's like, whoa, wait, why would this like absolute killing machine just walk away from there?
Exactly.
Like on one point you'd be like, no, because she's a hero of the movie, of course they're not going to kill her off things. But the story goes with it. It's like, well, it feels a need to protect her because it could see it's a vessel for another alien queen potentially. And it's just really, it works really well. And that brings to the tragic ending at the end there. Like this movie's a downer. That might be another reason why people.
Yeah, I'm gonna say a lot of people are not a fan of this movie because it's a downer.
Yeah,
and there's only brief moments of kind of like some success and optimism.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know though. I mean, this is just kind of like one of those movies that like we named our podcast after, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to go to space.
Yeah,
and this is a good reason,
and that's why
Alien is the number one reason.
Number 2 reason, no vending machines.
Oh, good point.
The Matrix is number 2. That one's not really space. It's just like, yeah.
Yeah, that's just here.
The future. Please don't send me to the future either.
Please don't trap me in a wasteland of any sort. Thank you.
Yeah, please don't.
Number 3, Hawk the Slayer. No, I don't know.
Oh, send me there, please.
Oh, man. No, I can't do that. I'm sorry. Yes, I can.
She shaved her head in this movie.
Yes, she did. Did you expect that?
Yeah, I knew at some point she was going to shave her head. I didn't know if it was this movie or the next one, but did they say, like, just because everybody else shaves their head on this planet, you have to shave yours too? Or did she just do it to fit in?
She did it to fit in, I think.
To be one of them.
Yep.
Yeah, well, at that point, I feel like there were a couple of points in the movie where she could have said, like, well, who gives a shit? Like, like there's a couple of points where it's like, really? What matters right now? like, oh, people aren't gonna like me or whatever. It's like, no, I don't care. That's the only thing that matters is trying to save human lives.
Like they say, don't rub the temptation even further into their faces. She may be surrounded by supposedly religious dudes, but they're still double Y chromosome men.
Double Y.
Which apparently is the root of their problem, I guess.
Oh. Is that what Fincher's trying to tell us here?
Well, I don't know. Like, that's another interesting detail. It just makes, like, I think that's a reality. Like, men who do have a double Y chromosome are just naturally more aggressive and stuff like that. But I don't remember where I heard that.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah. I could have just made it up right now. Oh. But I don't think so. I think I did.
Pseudoscience, Joel?
Yeah. I wear a pseudoscience. It's purple.
I should have realized all those math equations on your suit you're wearing right now.
Did you know that I could save you a lot of money by getting the government to pay you to do things?
Oh, the question marks all over your suit.
Oh, that guy's dead.
That. He's dead?
I don't know.
Oh, someone sniped him?
I hope so. I mean, he's been playing Gotham for years. One of my favorite scenes in this movie is towards the end, when they decide they have a plan, because we're narrowed down to alien again, because there is literally only one alien on this planet. And there is a scene where they're trying to get the alien so that they can pour hot molten whatever on them.
Ooh.
And these prisoners all set up in these hallways so that they can close doors in a certain order and kind of kite it in the right direction. And so we get this first-person view of the alien running down the hallway where the prisoner is like in fisheye in front of them, running away with a torch, trying to get doors to close things. And I think that happens like four or five times.
Oh, yeah.
And each time is still like super thrilling. Especially the last time where it's like, that door's not closing, that door's not closing,
Yeah, that was actually pretty rad.
Pete Postlethwaite is like, oh no.
I thought the visuals were really cool. I liked the style of the place they were in. It was like really industrial. Looked like Nine Inch Nails could have filmed a music video there.
Oh yeah, I felt that too.
There are like subway tiles, and there's like a green colorway through this movie that was kind of interesting visually.
Mm-hmm. And some places had this cold blue to it too. Just like you could feel like this is not a comfortable environment almost anywhere.
Yeah, they never had like, oh, let's have a ice cream cone. There was never like a good moment really of tension being broken, like where everybody was just like, let's take a minute.
Lieutenant Ridley, if you're around for Friday, that's pizza day.
That was a good warden, by the way, Joel. That was a good warden.
Thank you.
Yeah, and they all hate her. They think she brought the alien, and she could have. When you find out what happens, it could have come straight out of her body when she crashed. We don't know.
And she's acting cagey the whole time. She won't tell anybody what's all about until crap starts to really hit the fan, either.
Yeah.
There isn't a lot of preemptive. Yeah. Well, I see she's kind of playing her cards close to her chest for a good reason.
I don't know. Like,
you think
I guess it's good if there is no danger of the alien thing.
Mm-hmm.
not to panic everybody.
That's what I was gonna. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But there are a couple of people she could have told. I guess she didn't know who she could trust at that point.
Oh, you're talking about Lannister boy?
Yeah. I'm talking about Tywin.
I also
Well,
think there
Tywin?
could have been a little bit of, like, I am
me
going
roar?
to die. Like, her processing that. Like, despite all of her efforts. Like, there could have been a delay in her communicating to people that she thought could handle the information. Like, just because she was like, I'm gonna die, probably.
Well, that's after. I mean, she doesn't realize that that's going to happen until after Dr. whatever his name is, Charles Dance's character, dies in the movie. That's by then, she's already feeling a little fluish and stuff like that. She doesn't really know what's going on. And then when she goes back to her ship and gets a full body scan, and that's finally revealed that there's a 3D alien image inside her.
I hated that. I'm sure a lot of people hated that when they saw that part. Like, they really do kind of trick you in the beginning if you haven't seen this movie before, because she is just sick and she has been through something. You don't know, like, what else it could be, really, but yeah. Anyway, after she finds out there's actually an alien living in her body.
That's a good song title, by the way. Actually, an alien living inside my body.
Yeah. I like that. I've been making up a lot of band names recently.
Oh, cool. I'd like to hear some of those.
Yeah.
Florence and the Machine. Can you imagine a band about that?
No.
What?
Me neither.
So, what's one of your favorite parts
Yeah,
of
Aaron.
it?
Okay. I'm a big fan of the classic scene they use all the time in all the ads. The alien's face all up on Ripley's face, and the little face coming out and saying, "Hey," getting real close to her face, like, "Hey," and just all the goop dripping off the alien like that.
Thick, like whatever that is.
I
Petroleum jelly.
I just really love how textured a xenomorph is.
Yeah.
Like the non-CG one. I love how textured it is, and just I know yeah.
I'm sticking my tongue out for people who can't see me.
I understand where you're at, Sarah, but I'm the opposite.
It's yucky.
I think it's perfect.
Like slimy looking vinyl, whatever.
I'm into it.
Like I don't even know. Like a carapace on an insect, but also, alien is the descriptor.
So I'm a real big fan of that scene, just because it's pretty iconic as far as this movie is concerned.
For sure.
They used it in everything. Like, it's definitely the one thing I think about quite often when I think about this movie. That ending, pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Real brutal. I liked the idea, the concept that there were no guns. What can we do? Kind of like, I think, as you'd mentioned, Sarah, while we were watching it, kind of like a Home Alone
Oh yeah, I was
version
like,
of,
are they
version
gonna?
of Alien.
I was like, are they gonna Home Alone the alien and this one?
Yeah.
Set up all these little traps.
They try their best
in a
too,
paint
but
can
they end up goofing
in
themselves.
the head.
That was
picturing
pretty.
like a slapstick comedy.
In this viewing, that was a treasured moment for me when you made that connection, that correlation. So I wanted to thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
You gotta foil those alien bandits this time.
Acid blood bandits. So that was pretty fun. I'm kind of a fan of a lot of the goobers in this movie too.
The
There's
weirdos.
a lot of weirdos. I'm a big fan of weirdos, so this movie has a lot of them in it. Like Mr. Gonna get chopped up by a fan sitting in the air duct, just kind of scraping the wall and singing a song.
Mm-hmm.
He's a pretty fun goober.
Yeah, I like how, like, oh yeah, it was bound to happen eventually. Like,
Yeah, everyone not sad to see him go.
got chopped.
There's a
up.
reason why they sent him into that tunnel.
Yeah.
It's not enough that you've got an alien chasing after you. You've got a plant full of goobs trying to creep on you or be annoying.
There's some goobs for sure.
Yeah.
But a lot of fun, kind of like you could tell that when they were casting this movie, they had a lot of fun trying to find, like, it's just shady as hell. Like, who are we gonna, So it's real fun for that, in that aspect.
Mm-hmm. It is.
It's definitely not a place you want to be. Fury is not a planet you want to be on. And Fincher did a great job of making sure you felt that way.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about there?
In the movie?
With this alien?
I think the ending.
Okay. Let's talk about the ending. Ooh, yeah. So the Weyland Yutani team shows up, right?
And saves the day.
Yep, they do. Actually, by the time they show up, everybody's all killed for the most part anyways. Their plan to melt the alien didn't work because when they actually cover that alien with metal, he just jumps out like, whew, that was a little hot, guys. I'm going to get this Sigourney Weaver after all.
That wasn't fair.
No, I agree.
That alien should have been scalding hot and in metal. But I guess, it's so badass that it can just bust out of scalding hot metal.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense. Like, the alien is specifically afraid of fire.
Fire. We hear fire being,
Yeah.
So you think molten hot.
We also see the alien, being hit with, like, a spaceship exhaust. Like, and does not take too well to it. So,
yeah,
I call a little BS on that, too.
Right. But I think it is cool when she, like, releases the water on him and it just, like, blows up because it like, quick dries. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool. And did they know if it's just one alien that's been after them, or they're, like, the dog aliens, or the...
I think that's just the presumption, is that there's only one.
Yeah. Yeah. I read on that Wikipedia thing that Fincher wanted the alien to be more like a creature, like a beast or a puma, and that they kind of changed it a little bit because he thought that would be more interesting if it was more like an animal.
Oh, I see.
Interesting.
But, yeah, I think that was, like, partly his vision meeting with, like, the Geiger original art. And
Ripley even comments on it, when they're talking about the alien. She's like, I've never seen one like this before. So,
yeah.
It was different.
It's different.
Yeah. Sorry, I went off on a tangent. But, yeah, the ending where she's basically telling them she's not going to go back with them unless they can promise her that they're going to kill it. And she just doesn't believe them, which is right. They were lying to her. They wanted to try and learn something from it.
Right. That's I think Bishop takes the position when she asked that and is like, well, there's so much we can learn from it, though. And she's like, eh.
Yeah.
Wrong answer.
And then...
I think that's exactly what she said.
Yeah. And then she falls into the lava.
Oh.
And Joel and I were talking about this.
Yeah, this is one of my biggest problems with the movie, is what happens as she's falling into the lava. Her little baby alien friend bursts out of her chest as she's mid-fall, as the music's like, oh. And the alien's like, I don't want to die. This is terrible. And then she holds it on. She wraps her arms around it like, you're my baby now. And they both go into the molten lava together. I think that the alien bursting out of her chest mid-fall is pretty stupid.
I'll agree with you. It's pretty dramatic.
It's a little over the top.
Over the top.
They could have just had her fall in without doing that, and we would have known that the alien that was inside of her... I mean, you never really know at the end of Alien because they always come back with another one, and then you're like, well, they obviously didn't get them all.
Exactly.
Or someone opened up a new ship of them or something. Like...
Hot piping fresh aliens right here. Oh no.
But yeah, you you see it laid out for you. No mistaking what could have happened. She dies. The thing comes out of her. It dies. Like, that's the end.
Yep.
And she's a badass even in death. She's just like, you know what? I knew I was probably going to die as soon as I found out this thing was in me, and I'm going to make sure it doesn't hurt anybody else. And she just threw herself into it.
Yes, indeed. Like, she knows for the greater good she has to do this, and she does.
Yeah. Without even really making a big deal out of it.
No.
She's badass.
Yep.
Make sure to tell everyone I did this.
She's a hero.
Tell everyone!
Ripley's...
Tell my daughter who tried to find me in that video game.
What do you mean she's been dead for 100 years?
Oh, you're right.
Did you guys see that movie Interstellar? Living in the bookshelf.
Look what I'm about to do, guys. Swan dive.
Swan dive. That's awesome.
Like, I think yes, without that alien, I think the moment would been just like brutal and good in that way alone. But there's something just so silly to me about the alien being like, oh no,
puppet. Yeah.
I just realized she's gonna do what she's doing. Let me out of here.
And just to confirm, neither of you have seen Alien Resurrection?
I definitely have not.
Okay.
Sarah
I might have.
Okay. All right.
Why? Because is there
nothing?
Does the movie start with the alien saying like, "I think you probably thought she died, but here I am."
The little alien puppet.
Well, first of all, yes, just like that Mickey Mouse voice you've just uttered. The alien has a little gloves with 3 little lines on it.
It freeze frames at the end of Alien 3.
It has little.
It's like, don't
it's got little shoes on.
Forget about me.
It's got little red pants with 2 little gold buttons on. Yep.
I was gonna say, is it dressed up like Michael Jackson in the in like the Thriller video or so? Does he start moonwalking?
That'd be so awesome.
Moonwalking.
I'm gonna do a Google search at some point for that, and I hope it's out there.
Alien Michael Jackson.
Yeah, Alien Moonwalk.
It's him on the cover of Bad, where he's just like laying on his side.
Part of the reason that's
rad.
This is probably something only I think, but part of the reason I find the alien so menacing is because I feel like it looks like it has a smile.
Yes.
And like kind of like
permanent smile.
Pennywise the clown or something. It's like this smile, but it's like
it's got like a rictus.
Like a scary, like fake, like inhuman smile.
Yeah, you nailed it. Absolutely nailed
What's that alien so happy about? I don't know. Acid.
It's gonna kill all of us. He's really happy about that.
Now let's tie this all back into Prometheus and Alien Covenant. So we're to assume David bred these things to have. Did they have acid blood originally? See, I don't remember. After that one stood up in the T position.
I almost forgot those movies existed. Thanks, Joel.
Oh, well, you know.
Now I definitely see the correlation between the spoiler for those movies, but when she does the abortion.
Yeah.
So hardcore.
Yeah.
So hardcore.
That's what Ripley should have done. That's probably what everybody thought. Like, why couldn't Ripley have done that and just lived?
I mean, she didn't, have the facility of the full spaceship.
Yeah.
This was just like a medical scan.
It was like a little triage they had
in an already
there.
broken ship, yeah.
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 But you're like, yeah, get that thing out of you in the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway, Alien 3, good movie. Give it another chance if you decide you didn't like it. Anything else you guys want to say about it?
I thought the actors all did a really good job. I thought David Fincher did a really good job directing it, and adding that style that he does. And I definitely like Alien 1 and 2 better.
Yeah, I mean, so do I. I have to rewatch Aliens. I honestly only watched it the one time we watched it with your mom. So
it's pretty awesome. Like,
Bill
but the thing is, well, like, I just want to reiterate, I really do enjoy the tonal differences between all three films.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that you're not going to really see with a trilogy nowadays.
right.
Like, and I think that's what's so amazing about all three of these films. Don't get me wrong, Alien Resurrection's great too, but in my opinion, the first three are pretty amazing.
I'm excited to watch the fourth one.
Yeah, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
it's a great film all on its own for sure, but it's kind of hard for me to compare all
Sure.
four of them together.
Yeah.
But at least the first three in a row, like, the tonal difference between all three of them is so rad. Like,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty great. It's like Halloween 1, 2, and 3. There's
I wouldn't know.
completely different movies.
Never seen them.
Oh, man. Even Sarah's seen Halloween 1. Come on.
I'm sorry.
She just
It was only more
she just
recent.
looked at Aaron
Wait,
and shook her head.
I think I've
like,
seen
"My
Halloween
God."
3. That's the Season of the Witch, right?
Yes.
Okay, I've seen that one.
Okay, so you've seen Halloween 3.
That doesn't make any sense.
The one, well, it does because Halloween 3 is a standalone movie. Like, it has nothing to do with the other Halloween
Okay.
movies.
I've seen Season of the Witch.
Okay.
It's the one everyone thinks is God's gift to horror movie lovers. But anyways, we're
Really?
not talking about
I mean, it was
Halloween 3.
fun, but we can talk later about that.
Yeah. Yes, people love that movie.
I liked it.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah.
I caught that. That
Yeah.
was a whole review right there. One
Anyway,
statement.
I'm going to read the outro stuff. You guys think of a lesson you learned from Alien Cubed. And I'll keep calling it that because it's Alien with a little 3 number. And,
I was
you
like
know-
to third power.
Oh, third power. Oh,
Alien to the Third Power.
right. But that is cube. Third power, same thing. Right. If it was Alien with the 2, it'd be squared.
Every time you
Mhm.
say the word cube, though, I think of those elevator movies.
Really, I think of like diced ham. You know, they put
I
those
don't
in
think-
like
I don't like
salad
think about
packages.
that.
Gross.
I don't like to think about that.
I
Yeah.
think of the geometric solids in the Montessori method.
Oh, nice.
Anyways, if you want to...
Nice.
Hey, listener, if you want to hear about the Montessori geometric solids, write into pleasedon'tpodcast@gmail.com. Message us on Facebook, facebook.com/PDSMiOS. If you have a few bucks you want to send our way, we'd appreciate it. You can reach us at our coffee site, ko-fi.com/PDSMiOS. Oh, that reminds me, I have to put the notes in for one of the episodes. I totally forgot. Anyways, all those links are usually in the notes. Thanks to David DeRoy for theme music, to Jed Doutry for our podcast logo, to everyone who listens, and all those people who don't listen. I also think that you're great. But, the listeners are probably better, just in general.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. And my thanks tonight goes out to Sarah and Joel for being awesome. I'm really thankful I get to hang out with you guys and do this crazy, wacky podcast.
We're thankful to you, too.
No, you're still in the doghouse anyways.
Oh, my God, Joel.
You want to help out the podcast and you don't have any money to toss our way, listeners? Tell somebody else about the show. Get a specific episode. If you hear somebody watched a movie that we've covered before, tell them to go to PDSMiOS.com. All the episodes are listed there. And we'd appreciate it if you could just tell anyone else. Tell your mom, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your boss. Tell your boss you need a raise and that he should also listen to the podcast. Both those things. It's good advice. Anyways, did you learn to listen to the doghouse? What's going on?
What? I don't know. Okay, here's my lesson. Hopefully I'll get out of the doghouse with Joel.
Why must I chase the cat?
You crash landed on a prison planet. Be sure to always keep handy your droid that's on the way out, so that you can Bluetooth it to the the black box of the spaceship, so that it can melt in front of you. That's my lesson.
Basically,
That scene was so cool.
It's like
that scene was amazing.
He's like a Teddy Ruxpin or Ruxpin or whatever. Yeah,
I don't know about you guys, but that was I thought that scene was so rad.
Okay, Bishop, tell us a story. Once upon a time, I can't feel my legs. Yeah, it was really cool scene.
I thought it was so cool.
It was gross. Like a lot of the gross parts in this
Also gross,
movie.
yeah.
I don't like milk that much.
Not anymore.
My lesson for this movie would be pretty dark ideas coming into my head.
Not unbelievable with the subject matter. So.
Yeah, with the way this movie goes, I'll say my lesson from this movie is you gotta seize the day, live in the moment.
Yeah,
because you don't know if you've got an alien living inside of you.
That's well put. You just gotta live your life.
Carpe diem, xenomorph.
Just live your life. That's great, Sarah. Thank you.
Sure.
Let's see so I think my lesson is that no, that's not a good lesson. I was going to say something about how curtains in medical facilities should be more see-through just in case there's an alien, but that's not,
I don't like see-through curtains at a medical facility.
Oh,
that
yeah,
seems
exactly.
scarier.
It's for privacy, exactly.
Maybe doors would be good.
And we got like a mute crossover where some creep job is, whatever. Let's see. If I had a lesson, I'd say, okay, here's my lesson. And you have to watch the theatrical version to get this lesson. It's that make sure you always got an eye on your pup.
Aww.
And this could, there's too many people that just let their dog wander around with them without a leash. Your dog is not a person. And if you want to compare it to a person, it's a toddler. And it doesn't matter how old, how well trained that dog is. Consider that a toddler might just run into the street or might get picked up or anything like that. Put your pup on a leash, especially when you're on a prison planet. Then you have no chance that it will be invaded by an alien or something worse than that.
Yeah, that's a friend.
That's
you
a
shouldn't
practical
shouldn't let anything happen to your dog, especially if you're deserted on this crazy world. Yeah.
My faithful pup.
Take care of your cats too.
So always have your dead robot with you.
R.I.P. Jones.
Live in the moment. Keep your pup on a leash.
Maybe we got some really good lessons out
did.
of this.
Yeah. I think we did. Good podcast, everybody. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening, folks. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.